Hi, I wanted to, this is the first time I'm actually doing this. I'm going to talk about a technical indicator. And I'm also going to talk about some other ones other than the RSI and some of the upcoming videos. And the reason why I'm even talking about technical indicators is because it's one of the tools that I actually use to go along with the fundamental and the macro analysis that I do for the AI models that I have to kind of help predict where a stock might be going as far as its movement. And there's a few that I like. RSI is one of the ones that I like, along with some other ones. RSI stands for Relative Strength Index, and it's a momentum oscillator, so it's looking really at price and the price movements and trying to predict a trend that may be happening in those price movements and also conditions where maybe a price movement's reached a point where it can no longer keep going up like it has, or maybe it can't keep going down like it has. And those are things that again that is trying to show and predict based on the movement. Um, Again, and it's a look back period indicator, meaning that it's calculated based on looking at changes that have happened over so many day periods. And normally you use a 14-day period, look back period, for this indicator. It can be less than that, it can be greater than that. And depending on what you're trying to do, how much you're trying to predict into the future, that really drives what the look back period is going to be. If you're looking for something that's more short term, then use something then that's less than uh, 14 periods of looking back. Um, or if it's something that if you're looking for like a longer, prediction over time, where you're looking to invest for many days, uh, in the future, possibly weeks, months, then you may want to use something that's actually longer than 14. And it, again, as mentioned before, it really does help identify maybe, conditions where you get to overbought or oversold, which are very important. Let me Here's the calculation for it. Again, it's not very hard. It's very simple. It's based on the average gain. So if I'm looking at a 14 period look back, I'm going to calculate the average gain. I'm going to calculate the average loss and divide the average gain by the average loss. That gives me the RS. I take the RS and I plug that into this equation that you see where it's 100 minus 100 over 1 plus RS. And that will give me the RSI. And it's going to be between 0 and 100. Um, and then obviously, as I'm calculating this for every new 1 day period, the calculations actually, there is a smoothing of, effect that you actually do. And as you can see, it's based on the average gain. So if I'm using 14 periods, a 14-day period, it's going to be the average gain times 13 plus the current gain. And again, it could be the loss, the previous average loss times 13 plus the current loss. Then you divide that by 14. And that gets you the actual RS that you're going to be using. And again, it's a price movement. I mean, if it's a price movement indicator. There is no volume involved. There are some other indicators that I will talk to you about where there is volume also involved. And again, it's good to use an array of technical indicators. When I actually use the RSI, I don't use it on its own. I use it with an array of other indicators. And some of them are going to be based on volume. Some are going to be a combination of price and volume. And some of them are going to be based on the actual what's going on within the actual day of the trading stock. As far as the opening price, the closing price, the high, the low. So you want to use as much of these different types of indicators to give you an overall sense of where things are going. And you don't use them on their own. In my case, I use them with fundamental analysis also, as well as with macro analysis. And it helps me to create a picture of what's going on with the individual stocks and where they're potentially heading. And I just wanted to show one quick chart on basically what it looks like. And as you can see, again, over many days, you can have a downward trend, you can have an upward trend. I'm not showing really a sideways trend here, but it can have, you can be seeing many different type of movements. And you can actually do this analysis for over years over several months to see what's going on with the RSI. And the goal is to really to pick up on a trend. So if you've reached a very low point, as you can see on this chart, where it's basically an oversold condition, and you start seeing it trending up from that point, then that could become a buying opportunity. If it sustains that trend, you can keep adding to your position a little bit more. If it starts going up and every so often you start seeing a little bit of a drop where maybe it's over 70, then it comes back to 50, and then it starts going back up again, that could be a dip in the actual price movement where you can actually buy some more. So then basically what it's going to give you is a potential indication based on prior activity of where it might be going. Based again, and you're actually just picking up on trends. That's what it's doing. It's picking up on trends and the momentum of those trends. And it's not going to be perfect. It's an indicator, a flawed indicator, because again, there are so many other things that are impacting the actual price movement of the stock. So, but it actually does help you. And when used in conjunction with other indicators and other analysis, it can give you a much better idea of where things might go. All right. Thank you. And again,